Peace, peace, and blessings, sis. I'm so glad to finally be able to connect with you to do this. I'm so glad that you shared with me the other day about your questions. I always like to take the confirmation when I go to the shrine. I've been doing this for such a long time, but it's still always better. It still, satisfies that place in me that always likes proof and backup, to know that when I'm called to the shrine or when I'm told to do something, that what it is that I was called to do is actually what was the right thing all along. And so, yes, I am so thankful and so honored to be able to share this with you because you are one of the, you are a powerful sister, and you have been an inspiration to me. And I feel so thankful to be able to assist through whatever I know and assist your healing at any level and in any way. So thank you, and thank you for connecting with me and supporting my business as well. A lot of people say things and then, kind of leave you off in the wind whenever it's time to do things. So, but this is real, the healing is what it's all about. It's so important. In my own personal journey, I've just been through so much stuff, and need to constantly cleanse, constantly process out the things that are going on with me. And I've just kind of perfected that over the years because I have, if I won't word it well, probably by saying this, but I have what can be considered a somewhat reckless spirit. I have a free, I don't have a filter. I came to Earth to experience, to live my destiny, but to experience all things and not to put a judgment on them. This experience is good, this is bad, stay away from this, don't do this. I want to feel what everything feels like because that's just how I was designed. And I want to know every experience, every year I've lived high, low, left, right, up, down, in, out. And I just want to know what all those experiences are. My natural sense of being is like this place of testing boundaries. And sometimes when you get to the edge, you put your hand on that stove and you get burned. And I've been burned a lot. So, but I still have, from all the experiences, I'm able to say, where is the boundary? Where is the middle? Where is the end? Because a lot of people don't go to the edge and look over, so they can't say what is the edge or what isn't. And it's always like kind of mystery or a belief. Well, I made my life a process of knowing where the edge is, and not just for my own personal experience, but just to kind of make it a collective of where that edge is, So I just kind of share my story out like, hey, this is where the edge was when I got there, and just in case you don't want to go tip over and get burned, here it is. This is what happened. But so in the process of being that sort of person, and that applies to everything that's in financially, taking risks, traveling around the world, in relationships and all sorts of things in every area of life, I carry that same energy. I'm that same way, and so I do get burned often, and I do get and sustain damage. And if I hadn't learned the techniques that I've learned in order to keep sustaining me and to keep rebuilding me, through these situations, then I probably wouldn't be here right now because I've been through some stuff that not nearly took me out a few times. So, but yeah, so I just want to, just share that. I'm just gonna keep this super informal. This is like just, just between us girls, and I mean, you're welcome to show it to whoever you would like. It's yours. So I just want to just kick off an introduction. I'm very, very informal. I'm not good with the standing up at the podium type of, I will tell you what to do type of energy. That doesn't suit me at all. I'm very kind of free flowing. So if I mess up, just slide past that part. And, I'm going to try not to over analyze and overthink the way I come across, or if anything, But if you do have questions about anything I say at all, feel free, write them down, rewind, write it down, and hit me up, text me, inbox me, call me, and just ask, and we can have a discussion about it. I do want to have a discussion with you about this at whatever time is convenient for you and whenever works for our schedules, and make sure to make that happen, because this is a real important process, and this is coming up springtime. It's time for a real honest and deep cleanse, and I know that in the place that you've been in, where many people do not go, there is a definite need for some cleansing and for some healing to take place there. And I know you've done an amazing job going through what you lived through. And I don't want to bring it up or rehash it in that kind of way, or not to say anything that might make you sad or anything. But obviously, I know your story, to some degree. And there's a lot of people don't have to go down that road and experience that, and it leaves its mark, but it can leave its mark without taking something away from you. You know, I can't say that in that sense. I don't know how to word that well, because it will always take a piece of you for something like that to happen. But it's maybe that it doesn't, not that it doesn't take it away from you, but you will always be able to access that part again. I think that that's part of the healing process, is that piece of you that has been taken from you. When you heal, you can reach that place. You can reach that part of you again. You might not ever be able to have it and walk around with it and be it, but you can be that through memories or through whatever, through your cellular memory, through your mental memory. You can still be the being that you were before the pain. So I did a reading, and I asked about your body, specifically where any kind of injuries physically, because our organs all speak. Our organs speak, experience, go through our processes with us. They store our memories, and they have their own conversations that go on between them. So when you go through a shock, a trauma, or anything like that, or good things, joy also, they leave marks. They leave marks on your cells, leaves marks in your organs, leaves marks through your systems, and those marks start to they move like a groove, like a record groove, and they create their own shape. And so our experiences recircuit the way energy moves through us. So if you go through some kind of trauma or shock, the energy can be broken in one place where it was naturally flowing. Say there's just energy flowing up and down here, and you experience a break here, a shock, and it gets here, and it gets stuck, and it needs to go somewhere else. So it can reroute itself this way, through the back of you, up this way, but it needs to reroute so that it can do something, or it stays stuck. And some people, when you manifest physical disease, it does stay stuck in a specific place, and energy has to continue moving. So it will either move outward and upward and progress, or it will move inward and downward, and it will scrape you away. Then that's what, like cancer and things like that, it's like a wasting disease. It's still movement and energy, but the movement and energy is inward and downward. So so I spoke to the ancestors about your body. Well, I spoke to your body also directly, and asked where did you absorb the shock? Who within you endured the greatest part of the shock, or absorbed the greatest part of the shock? Who needs the most and first healing? And they said specifically that your kidneys had absorbed the shock, and and the kidneys are related to Nebuchadnezzar. So I don't know if any time over this past period, if you've had any kind of connection or relation to Nebuchadnezzar, but she is the ruler of the kidneys. Obviously, she's the masteress of the temple. That's her title, her name. But so specifically, you may want to call on her for doing any of the work that you do. Just when you light your shrine, just send a prayer to her. Nebuchadnezzar, just guide this for me, and show me what it is. She can show you in a language that you understand. Some people hear best or receive their language best through visuals, some through a voice that says, whispers something into the silence. Some people get the voice best through their physical body, through, movements, tingling, through different, everybody has entirely different ways of receiving information, and it doesn't always have to be verbal or spoken or anything like that. So, you can always ask, because sometimes people say, well, I can't hear. If my daughter says, like, well, when I talk to God, what are they saying? How do I hear them? And I say, well, you have to just listen, but, don't only listen with your ears, listen with your body, and they'll tell you, they'll let you know. Just ask them, can you show me how I can hear you? And so she's a little, still a little iffy on that. She's a very concrete type of person, and likes everything sort of, show me up, show me this and show me that, and I don't want to follow all this extra, but it's still the way to just to get her to open that way. So the work that I found for you is going to be specifically with the organs. So for this week, we're not actually going to do a yoga set. because what I'm going to do is actually record the yoga set going on. I'm going to record the meditation and show you how this meditation goes. And so you're going to do this meditation for 11 minutes a day for the next 5 days. And in 5 days, I'm going to have another video for you. And I haven't determined yet whether at that time they want me to start the yoga set, but so far I believe it's yes. So I'm saving the yoga set itself for the 5th day from now, and I'm going to do the meditation for you and show you that. Now there are also 2 remedies that I looked up for you, 2 flower remedies, and they are Australian bush flower remedies. Not sure if that might be something that you carry in the health food store, but if not, these are something definitely, absolutely to find. I think Amazon has them, or just look them up. Just Google those names, and whatever vendor has them online will order them. And they are to support in this healing process, to actually open that first gate and open up the healing, open up that flow. Because sometimes it's just like pushing a swing. That the first few pushes before that energy is moving back and forth are always the most difficult. And because we want the healing to be complete, we want to access through the yoga, but we can support the yoga with other things, obviously with things in your diet, with your sleeping habits, with time, with how you relate to other people. Everything is part of the healing process, or everything can be added into the healing process. So the yoga is the central, the yoga is going to be the hub of the healing process, and then we're going to add in other things to it and connect to it to help you go and be fully cleansed and ready for spring. So I'm going to show you the meditation now. And then, no, I'm not going to show you the meditation first. What I'm going to do is just explain about actually the spiritual anatomy. This is something important too that we don't really discuss much. This just isn't, I don't know why in the West this is just not something that's spoken of. But in the body, so we have our aura, we have our whole energy field, we have our chakras, which is, everybody has a debatable thing on who has how many and all that sort of thing. So anywhere between 7 and 11 chakras, we have all of those going on. But we know the path of the chakras like that, and we know that we have an aura surrounding us this way, and we basically look like an egg or a seed, or a one cell with the DNA movement inside of it. And that's pretty much what we look like. But we also have an arc line, which goes from here and it goes up around over the head this way. And this is the light that creates the halo. And this light is the brightest when we are fully connected to our Ka. And so this light here, this is like an actual connector. It has a different vibration, kind of the same way like an infrared vibration is different than an ultraviolet vibration, or a radio wave is different than a magnetic wave. It has a different field. It has a different structure of light, of radiation, of particles than the rest of the aura, than other parts of the aura. And now, out of the same type of energy that this has, we also, as women, and this is specific to women, because men and women both have this arc line that's over here. Women, we actually have an arc line that's like a disc, and shaped like a disc. That's kind of, if somebody were to slide a disc into our body, it slides in directly here and goes from the nipple to the other nipple. And this arc line here is actually the electromagnetic energy that radiates from our heart, and is very specific to women because we feed children. And so this is a bonding energy here. So this specific arc line that we have is the reason why it's more easy or more common for in calling people in their natural healthy state, but for a woman to for her heart to open, for her to be receptive to a man, or to be receptive in love, to be nurturing to the children. This energy center here is where all of that is stored. So this is where we receive information about where we receive love information about others to us, and also where we give off information. So this arc line gives information to the rest of our body, and so it basically is like the state of the union. So the arc line and the electromagnetic heart center reads all of the information in the entire body, stores it in this kind of record that goes here, and then feeds from this record is the link between the physical body and the auric field. So this one here tells the body, it reads from the body and finds out what's going on, and then tells the auric field what exactly is going on in the physical body. So the aura even though the aura is in and through us everywhere, the kind of phone call happens at this space right here. So this is an important portal in us as women. When this portal becomes goes through shock, grief, trauma, pain, this is the spot where we can become shattered. So it's an electromagnetic energy, but it still can become shattered and become frazzled and shake. And that means it throws off the messages that it's trying to read from the body, and then also throws off messages into the auric field that actually alter the vibration of the auric field. So when these vibrations are altered, obviously, that changes our entire lives, because our auric field sends and exchanges energy with the universe, so we attract the people to us that we need, so that we attract situations we need. When this shatters, that ability, that function shatters also. So this is of vital importance to keep this healthy and clean and just constantly in a constant flow of cleanliness. So what the body does in order to clean this, the psychic body does, is take the energy from here and start to draw that energy down. So there's a pathway that moves through the body and goes downward. So it has to pass through all of our organs, all of our digestive system, and it passes down into the womb. So it passes down into the womb and the ovaries in order to exit from the body. So any kind of negativity, any shock, grief, pain, trauma, any of these kind of things, they are filtered. So so there's a cycle. So it goes downward and out the body, downward and out the body. And when the body is functioning, it's healthy and pure, the amount of shock or whatever emotion that's being received or being experienced is an amount that we can handle. The natural flow is that it just goes down, it stores in the womb, and then when we have our menstrual cycle, then it just flows itself out of us. And it is somewhat connected in an ebb and flow process like that. Now, when we have too much, when more happens than we can handle, then it starts to change. When it becomes shattered, again, that shattering adjusts everything. So the entire flow here all gets shattered, and it can't flow properly through all of our organs. So it can get stuck in the liver, it can get trapped in the stomach and in the intestines, in the pancreas. So a lot of the illnesses that we get, because if we think about it, when we think about, obviously in the West, dietary problems are huge among everybody. But when we look at really, traditionally between men and women, it's women who will have dietary problems, like, they want to eat chocolate at this time, or they overeat at this time, or when, they're in a grief state or something, then they can't eat. So we are affected by our ability to eat, to ingest, is affected greatly. See, men don't have this arcline, so they don't go through that same process as us. So everything that our heart is telling and this arcline is telling, and whatever it's trying to process out, when it can't process it properly and things start to get stuck there. So we compensate for the stuckness by eating certain foods. We start craving different kinds of things, and what's actually taking place when people are developing things like diabetes, when they're overeating salt, overeating sugar, overeating chocolate, drinking too much, having too much, getting sugar and candida. These are all signs and symptoms of a lack of cleansing here, of a shattering that's taken place, that's not allowing that energy to freely flow down and cycle itself out of the womb in a natural flow. So this is, again, super vital that we keep the heart center clean, and not just like, oh, imagine the heart, the all floaty, airy-fairy stuff. This is our actual scientifically measurable arc line radiating from off of the heart center. It's not just some airy-fairy type of thing that's just that we have to visualize or imagine. It's actually there, and so that we need to keep that clean and keep that process. So anywhere along the whole process of where it flows outward, it can get stuck. So all of our organs are sensitive to that. So it can go in its entire process, depending on the nature of the shattering. It can take its entire process down through the organs and then get stuck in the womb and get stuck in the ovaries. So for me personally, like, that was my story. My issues were in my liver. So what was happening was it was shattering. So here was shattered. Like, I had a terrible childhood. This was shattered. I came into adulthood with a utterly destroyed heart center, heart field. So what my body did to compensate was to, or the way that it shattered was that had to bounce off the liver. So it would go to the liver and then down, it would go to the liver and then down, and it was trying to that was the strongest gateway that it could find to get out of me. And so, for one thing, in my 20s, I was a not a heavy drinker, I would say, but I would drink a lot more than average, a lot more, and without understanding, of course, at the time, that process, I just knew I was self-medicating, and I just didn't want to, deal with the world. Well, I just knew I was partying. I was partying with friends. I was just partying with friends and partying my life away, and I was literally partying my life away because I was self-medicating pain and shattering an actual physical process that I wasn't aware of. So to compensate for the liver for all that I had gone through, I was I was pushing that energy downward here. And then that energy, the liver was like, oh, this doesn't belong here. It's supposed to get out. So it kept dumping it down onto my ovary. So on the right side of my body, the right ovary was the one that was affected because all of that energy that was supposed to be flowing out of me in a natural process was getting bouncing out the liver and falling out the ovary, bouncing on the liver, and over until eventually, at some point, after my second daughter was born and my second relationship ended, my second serious relationship, and I moved back to the States and, went through a whole, period of loss in my own way and had to continue, going forward and moving on and dealing with whatever and trying to create the next phase of life with the pieces that I had left. And it started to take a toll. It took a toll on my organs. And part of the reason that I'm aware of this process is because I actually had to go internal when I healed the tumor with the yoga. I had to go into my process and actually feel like what's happening down there. Where is this going? What is the channel? What are the pathways? And actually feel what really happened. And one of the most beautiful things that I could say about self-healing is that you actually have to come to know every single thing in order to self-heal. Whenever we allow someone else to heal us, we have the luxury of really not paying attention. Like Western medicine has got it down to a science that pop a pill, carry on with your day, and you literally don't have to think about your own temple at all. And the stuff you took, the white savior you just swallowed, is going to fix everything for you and you're going to be okay. And so you don't even get to have the conversation with your own body that your own body is trying to say to you. And it just seems so almost unfair to treat our bodies that way. Like, oh, shut up. Oh, I don't want to hear what you have to say. It's just really unfair. But it takes a lot of bravery to endure listening to the story, to listen to the story, because sitting with your body is like sitting with an elder who's been through everything and just hearing all the ups and downs and everything that they've had and feeling their story with them. So when we sit and listen to our body, like we're going to hear some stuff we don't want to hear because we cram everything we don't want to hear down inside. All the good stuff we keep it up here, right here. Oh yay, and this is life, and oh no, I'm great, I'm perfect, I'm doing what I'm supposed to. We keep all that story up here, but all the like, oh wow, I have this issue, and I went through this thing. All that stuff we just like, tuck it down and put it in there, and throw some makeup on it, and then carry on like we're all right. And so our bodies, so the stories, when we actually stop and listen to them, a lot of times the stories that they have to tell us are not the happy stories. There are, of course, moments of joy and wonderful things that the body can say to us, but those are the stories, like I said, that usually get told up front and out there. So we already know those stories. We just don't know the dark, quiet, what happened to me when I was 5, and all that kind of stuff is like all tucked away badly, deeply. So bear with me 1 second, since my battery's running low, so I'm just gonna plug this in and then I'm gonna start it back again. Okay, all right, I'm back. And okay, where was I? I was talking about the organs, the body, and how the systems all process everything. So all every single thing that happens in our entire body is recorded by our heart. So what happens is the heart sends out like a sonar, and it sends out electromagnetic waves all over the body, and then the waves bounce onto each cell. Every cell in our entire body, every cell in the entire body, the heart reads every cell. This is like an incredibly powerful, to even imagine what power that is, what a capacity that is to hear the sound of 3 trillion cells sending a message back. How are you today? How are you today? So the heart is sending out these sonar, how are you today? So it sends off a vibration, and then the cell bounces back a vibration. So the heart collects all of the vibrational information given off by each cell, brings it back collectively, and stores it in the heart center in men, and stores it in the heart center, which includes the arcline in us women, and then feeds that information out to the auric field. So there's a process of communication going on there, and a process. So the process of communication goes kind of out this way. It's like an outward pulse, and the process of the cleanse is like a flow, a downward flow that kind of goes down and forward that way. So okay, so now that I've explained the arc line, now I'm going to show you the meditation, because this is going to be your foundation. This is the one, and this meditation, I believe, this may be what they ask you to continue. So we'll see what the first 5 days bring, and we're going to kind of play off the healing, since this is becoming such an organic process, and I'm kind of taking direction from them and allowing the flow, because kind of what I had planned was like, well, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to talk about this, and we're going to add in this, and they're like, no, look, honey, we're doing this organically. We're doing this based on exactly what's going on in the exact here and now. So I'm listening, and I'm just going to follow the flow of what it is that they tell me to do. So, and I'm so thankful that you trust in that you understand that process, so that I don't have to, scientifically explain every single thing that I'm doing before you, so you don't have to karate chop all of the healing and question it all and everything. It's just you understand, you'll know what it is you need to connect with, and I'm just the channel that's just bringing this forward for you. So okay, so the meditation is actually very simple. So you're just going to sit down in whichever way is comfortable. You sit with your legs crossed. I think that's always the best. And I just recommend just because people have different body things going on, and especially in your case, because the shock was done to your kidneys, that it might be best for you to, if sitting down with your legs crossed is not comfortable, to sit in a chair with a back, and make sure that it's a back that has like some kind of lumbar support, so that your kidneys actually feel touched and feel connected, so that they feel held while you do the meditation. I think that might be the best bet for you. If you don't have a chair back where you can do that, sitting down with your legs crossed, actually, especially in women, because of our hips, creates a little bit of an arch in the back, so that your spine itself and the air around you is going to be what is going to be the holding force for your kidneys. And you're going to bring your hands here and raise your hands up. So the camera is tilted just a little bit, and so I'm going to try to compensate for that. I'm just going to lean forward a little bit so you can see. But you want the tips of your longest fingers, the tips of your your Jupiter fingers, your middle fingers, sorry. You want those to be directly in line with your third eye point. So we want the hands pressed together like this, not hard, just very lightly pressed together, and with the top fingertips exactly directly in line with the third eye. And from here, you're just going to close your eyes. You're going to breathe slowly and deeply and just connect with your body. And before you do this, you want to set a timer for 11 minutes, a very specific time. There are sacred increments of time, and the reason that these sacred increments of time is because they have to do with the amount of spin that the Earth has in that amount of time. That specific oscillation creates its own frequency. That's its own frequency. So there's in a spin going this way. So if you imagine the Earth is spinning this way, and if it does this much of a spin in a 360-degree Earth, that 11 minutes reaches to a certain place, and so that's the angle that you're trying to get. So without going all deep on the math, that's the science behind the specific timing. So you want to, actually, speaking of timing, let me take off this nice watch that my daughter bought me for my birthday. Okay, so you want to keep the hands off. I feel so much better. Hands up, and you want to breathe in. So all of the breath for this is going to be quite slow. And you want to breathe, you want to exhale as though you're humming, but you want the hum to be a whisper. So, but instead of being able to hear the out loud, it's going to sound more like so a whispered hum, if that makes sense. There's a specific way that the energy, that the air moves through the lungs and that the energy moves through the upper body when you breathe that way, when you breathe it as a hum, as opposed to doing a hum out loud, or as opposed to doing a regular, other type of breath. So just try to make sure to keep that and just keep it as a whisper. So you want to keep the hands there, and you want to do that for that entire time. And when the alarm rings, after 11 minutes have passed, you could use your phone. That's what I always use for when I do my meditations or yoga sets. When the alarm rings, before you reach to touch it, before you break pose, you want to just raise the hands up. You want to put the hands up, and you want to breathe in 4. And this one you want to exhale, so you do hear a little bit of a slight hum. So. And you want to do that 9 times. So 11 minutes here. And for that entire 11 minutes, you want to concentrate on this arc line. So you're imagining again that disc of light. You're imagining a full disc of light that fills your entire body, but the front of the disc sticks out so that you can see it out here. And so you want to concentrate on that disc, and you want to just cleanse and purify that light. Just allow that light to release anything that no longer belongs there. So this heart meditation, as I said, it's a simple meditation, but you probably will begin to feel things. You may feel tingling, you may feel itching or tickling in different parts of your body as you do it. And all of these things are a normal kind of energy exchange process. So this is like the same Kundalini, the Wajet energy, as it cleans itself and rebalances, as it takes energy from places that are stuck and draws the energy into places that are hollow. There's going to be that tingling, the itching, the funny pins and needles, and these different kind of sensations. So just to make you aware of those. Sometimes people don't get any of those at all. And sometimes because we're so clogged, we might not feel anything like that for a while. And then suddenly after some point, then we'll start to feel that. So there is no right answer. Every body has a different form and a different music that it speaks. So don't just be prepared for any of those kind of things to happen, but don't expect or feel like if you didn't tingle, then you must have done it wrong or anything like that. Years ago, teaching meditation, and people would read books on meditation and come in swearing that their meditation process had to be just like the person in the book, and nobody's process is ever just like anybody else's. So and there are a lot of times they wouldn't believe me, and I would try to tell them, look, this is your process. You may feel nothing. You may feel nothing every time you do this. You may have no thoughts. Your mind may churn with thoughts. Everybody has an entirely different process, a different story that's playing out in them, a different set of information that is downloading into them, and a different set of information that is releasing itself. So, and I know you know these things. So, but just to reiterate, and just to as a reminder. So, okay. Yeah. So, and again, so you want to do that. And if you have any questions about that part, just go ahead back and you want to just rewind that. And give me just a second here. Let me see something. So, okay, that is going to be the end of the first video. So I'm going to give you this one to watch so that you can kind of process the information that I've shared. And I'm going to need to get your email address because I have a written form. I want to keep, so also because I'm a good visual learner. So I like to watch, but I also need to read. I'm a sachat. I need to read and see everything written down, and that helps me to retain when I'm trying to learn something. So I have the names of the remedies that I want you to get written down, and I have some more information here so that you can kind of look over this. And that's for your first 5 days, and we're going to start with that. And I want to thank you so much for all of this, for this experience, for connecting, and also leave space available. As I said, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to call me. Just text me first and let me know. Please feel free to call me, to get me on WhatsApp, inbox, by whatever means feels comfortable for you to share. Go leave me a recorded message on WhatsApp, anything, whatever means feels comfortable for you to ask, to share, anything like that. The rest of our time, this would have been time that I would be sitting with you and hearing your questions. So obviously I'm going to make sure that space and time is available for you to have any questions that I can answer for you. So I'm going to leave it with that, and they said to tell you good night, and I wish you a good night as well. Much love to you, my sister.